Another controversial issue that came up recently, I'd like your take on. The Israeli government passed legislation recently to bar any foreigners who support boycott, divestment, and sanctions against Israel. And a lot of American Jews took issue with that. So what's your take on that? I mean, obviously the BDS movement is problematic for Israel, but even those who either support maybe a partial boycott or just are liberal Jews are asking publicly, does this forestall me from taking my kids to Israel, which I do on a regular basis? I'm thinking of somebody like Peter Beinart, who's written about this extensively. He's also written a big piece in the New York Times supporting the boycott, one that is certainly...
Of settlements, I think, not of...
The boycott of settlements, exactly right. So he makes a distinction. Right. So what do you think of that? Does that make it harder?
Yeah. This isn't really a trick question, is it? It's deeply worrisome to me. It's deeply worrisome to me when you talk about who is and isn't allowed into Israel based on their political view. Israel has every right to be a safe, secure, state and otherwise. But if you're suggesting that people are not allowed, or if the Israeli administration is making moves towards saying, those visiting Israel are not allowed to have the same discourse as Israelis do, and if there are limitations on what public discourse can and can't be in Israel, and there are other elements on the press and otherwise that are of deep concern to me as an American Jew. And as a lover of Israel, on Israel's where Israel is as being able to hold itself as a Jewish and democratic state. So I think these are very worrisome trends right now.
I have my doubts as to how fervently that law will be implemented. I have my doubts whether the Supreme Court will uphold it. I think it's more of a political statement expressing what is a widely held sense of revulsion against BDS, and we probably share that. But that Israel is it's still a democracy. It still has checks and balances. It still has a freewheeling press and a raucous political debate and independent judiciary. That frequently these somewhat extreme sounding and very political proposals arise, and then they get either very watered down or they get dismissed altogether. So I'm hopeful that this will kind of fall into that category. Not that I'm an advocate in any way for BDS, but because I think the issues you raised about open discourse are important, and I think they're important to a large number of Israelis.